back to another episode of the Mindset Map podcast with me, Rachel. I want to talk today about one of my favorite subjects is self-confidence. And specifically what I want to talk about today is the difference between a sort of deep inner true self-belief of self-confidence and what we might call a sort of surface level or junk confidence. I got this concept from the amazing Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, who in his books talks of this idea of junk happiness and then sort of real true peace, and how there's things that we gravitate towards because we think they make us happy, but actually it's sort of this junk sort of surface happiness. And I wanted to take this idea forward in terms of confidence as well, because it's so true in this sense as well. Because if you're asked to think of a confident person, traditionally we might always think of somebody who's loud and bold and bright and all these things, but so often that version is a mask, and that's not true confidence. True confidence comes from a real deep inner peace and a deep sense of self. There's an episode that I recorded a while ago, which is 7 steps to true self-confidence. I'd encourage you to go have a listen to that if you haven't done so already, because I really talk about these different layers of confidence that we want to work on, each layer to really build that confidence from the roots, from the ground up. So thinking about confidence, often the truly confident person is not the loudest in the room. Rather, it's the person who maybe feels so self-assured that they don't need to shout their opinion. But if you ask them, they're secure in their response. They know what they want to say, but they don't need to shout about it. So I, for one, am working on getting quieter, because when I get too loud, it's like a little warning bell for me to check in with myself, because I know that if I'm too loud, it can mean one of two things. One, I found something that I'm super passionate about and I feel really strongly and I really want to share it. Or two, and probably more likely, I'm acting out of ego or out of fear. So when I hear this loudness, if I can take a pause and I can check in with myself, I can see what's really going on. And if it's truly from passion, then great. Then I know that I'm on the right track. But I can also ask myself if there's maybe a more empowering way of sharing this important message, so people will truly hear it rather than me needing to shout the loudest. But if the loudness is coming because I'm acting from fear or from ego, then I know that this is not a place of true confidence. This is coming from feeling insecure or unsafe, out of my depth, from wanting validation or wanting to be liked. And I don't want to be operating from this place. How often do we hear people say, you need to speak up for yourself? You must use your voice. But how can we use our voice if we can't hear our voice? So how do we learn to hear our own true voice? Well, by getting quiet, by getting still. We all lead such busy lives that it can be so easy to rush from one task to the next, trying to maximize time by doing 2 things at once. We need to exercise, but we'll listen to a podcast at the same time. We're cooking the dinner, but we're also chatting to our mum on the phone. We're always trying to do more and be more. But we must get better at finding small moments of quiet and stillness, because it's in these moments that we can hear our true inner voice. And that is the only way to deep, authentic inner self-confidence. So this is what I wanted to share today, is just that reminder to listen to ourselves, to take that moment when we realize that maybe we're being loud, asking ourselves why and where that's coming from, and finding those moments of stillness and finding those moments of quiet so we can really learn to tap into our inner voice and understand ourselves, because that's where the magic happens. That's where we can feel that sort of inner knowing, that real sort of deep self-belief and trust in what we're doing, which allows us to just exude that inner confidence that we really want. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, come and find me over on the socials. I'm at Rachel Bloomfield Coaching on all the channels, and I love to hear what you think of these episodes. So come drop me a DM and I will see you here next week.